of 2013, and we're speaking to
Josh and Jake.
Tell us your story, would you please?
All right, so July the 14th, it was a Sunday morning. We went into work. We were just sitting around behind our cars and lawn chairs, just talking, carrying on, trying to keep each other awake. And then it was about 2:20, 2:30. We heard this real loud sound like it smacked the side of one of our covered wagon panels. And I asked Jake, I said, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "Yeah." And I told him, "Man, I don't understand what that was, because the trailers have set all day, all the pop, the cracks, all that stuff. The trailers are done settled, airbags done let out. You know, something made that noise." And I asked him, where'd it come from? And then you said it was 374.
Yeah.
So we decided we was going to walk down there and see what it was. And as we started walking down there through there, I walked by one of our other covered wagon trailers, and there was a rope down. So I asked him, I said, "Did you untie this or did you tie it back?" And he said, "No, I tied everything up." So I reached over and tied it up, you know, and we was talking and just walking down through there. And we made it down to two trailers that I had parked side by side, 325 and 379, and they was parked, you know, about 4 to 5 foot, you know, from each other.
Right.
You know, real dark and real close together. And as we started making it down through there, we was going to 374. And as we made it down through there, I made it
right next.
Yeah, right next to 379. And as I made it down there, you know, we were, what, 20, 30 foot from even making it in front of 325. I stopped Jake and I told him, "Man, there's something standing between the 710 spread of the two axles on 325. You could literally see something right there because you've seen it shuttle over." And I told him, "Man, there's something standing right there." So I picked up a rock and I threw it at the aluminum bulkhead. And it made a really big, loud pop. And when it did, you seen it move. And then that's when Jake seen it. And he just started freaking out. He said, "Yeah, there's something there." And I said, "What the hell is it?" And he said, "I don't know." So we just started picking rocks up and throwing them. And I was hitting them at the bulkhead. And you could still, whatever it was, you could see it move. And I just kept picking them up, throwing them. And then I stopped and I looked at Jake and I told Jake, I said, "Man, is there something back there behind 325? I said, "Looked like something, you know, peeked out." And
It did about 3 times.
Yeah, and I asked him.
Before that, listen, when you saw you're looking under this trailer,
Yeah.
which is about maybe 4 or 5 feet tall, you're seeing legs?
Yes.
Did you see 4 legs?
Two.
Okay. Could it have been a person from what you saw?
No, there's.
The legs were real thick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Black as can be. You know, like there is street lights, there aren't street lights in front of the trailers.
Okay.
And you can get the glow underneath the trailer.
Okay.
But like I said, those two trailers, they were pretty close together. It was dark in between there. It was a tight fit.
Right. Okay.
And there's no way it could have been a human.
Okay, thank you. Now it's at the back. Go ahead and take it from there. It's at the back of the trailer.
Yeah, and I seen something, and I didn't know if it might have been the back flap from the Conestoga that flew up, or if it was they got on the back of the Conestoga's got a big metal bar that sits down in the pocket that has a ratchet strap to it that pulls the curtain tight. And I thought it might have been that. And I asked Jake, and he's like, "No," he said, "That's one of the Raven trailers that's got all the strapping equipment on the inside." And then, you know, we sit there, and the next thing you know, you seen it come out again, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I asked Jake, I said, "What is that?" And it just kept, you know, it done it, 3 times? And we just started throwing more rocks and stuff at it. And, you know, when it it was a big object, whatever it was. That stuff.
How tall? Your best guess.
Yeah, I mean,
how tall is the trailer?
The trailers are like 13.6, and it come about 7 to 8 foot from ground up. Right there, and that's what made me think it was one of the black bars that goes in there, because they're, you know, half length of the trailer.
All right.
And I mean, it done it 3 times, and then the last time it come out, I mean, it was just, you know, how do you explain it?
It was black, pretty good size. I mean, I could tell it might have been half the body from chest over, where it was peeking, you know, trying to see us.
Right. Anything about a face? Anything that you can? I mean, if you didn't, that's fine. But
like I said, it's dark behind the trailers. There's no light, but it wasn't the shape of a head. You could tell there was some type of hair that made it, you know, bigger, looking like it was a shadow.
okay.
And then I picked up a bunch of rocks and just started throwing them. Then he grabbed a handful and just started throwing them at the trailer. And then I was hitting the bulkhead, making that real loud pop sound, just trying to do whatever I could to run it off. And
yeah, we wasn't wanting to hurt it or nothing. Maybe just to get it out of there, because like it's real protective. Wildlife's real protective there, and just maybe our safety, just to run it off. Maybe let us know, hey, get out of here, because we have other people coming in right there. That's why we were there waiting for them to get there.
Okay.
And then as we was throwing the rocks and stuff, all of a sudden you'd hear the gravel. And then you heard the grass, because it was quiet that night. The coyotes wasn't hollering. There was no sounds of any trucks or anything going on, and you could hear the grass. And and we sat there for a few minutes, and then I asked Jake, I said, "Man, you got your phone?" He's like, "No." I said, "Well, let's go get our phone and lights and see if we can't figure out what this was." So we got back to the car. I was shaking, and I wound up. I found my hard hat light, and Jake got his phone. Well, we slowly made it over and got in between the trailers. And our first instincts were looking down at the ground. We're trying to see if there was any kind of print or something. But
it did rain that day a little bit.
But we couldn't find nothing because the gravel itself. Well, then about the time I come up on the side of 379, it was a solid black Conestoga, and where we've been driving through there on the gravel lot, it's crushed the gravel up, made of dust, and it'll dust cover these trailers. So you take a black trailer with dust all over it.
Right.
So as we picked up, I took my hard hat light and I shined up there. I stopped and I told Jake, I said, "Look at this." And I told him, I said, "Now, man, look, you could see it looked like hair particles. Something real hairy rubbed up against it, about 7 to 8 foot." Wow. And I told him, I said, "Man, that was fresh, because look." And I took my hand and rubbed down the side of it, and you could literally see where it wiped the dust off and made it that new black look.
Right.
And it was, not just one spot, there was repeated spots down the side of it.
Wow.
So as we walked down the back side of the trailers, I told him, I said, "Well, what was behind 325? So as we got back there and looked, of course, he was right. There was nothing back there that could have made that shadow that we seen or that object to come around the side of the trailer. But, that trailer was the last trailer that we took care of that night, or that morning before we left. And there was a bungee that held the back flat. That bungee was undone. So I don't know what done it or why, but anyway, we went back over to the car and we sat down, we was talking, we was going through our phones. And we was looking, I was trying to find something that could have left that, the prints on the side of that trailer.
Right.
And then it was, the first knock that we heard was 3-something?
310.
310. And we was just sitting there, both of us playing on our cell phones. About the time I heard this real loud knock come from my left side. And, just one of them instinct things, I stopped and looked at Jake and I said, "Did you hear that?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So then we started playing around, and Jake was playing with his cell phone, trying to mimic the knocks with, things that you can get off YouTube and stuff like that. And so he was sitting there playing with that, and then about that time we heard another knock to the right of us, and then another one, and then another one.
Wow.
So I told Jake, I said, "Man, your phone, it wasn't loud enough, it wasn't getting out there." So we went and got a couple 4x4s and went right behind 379 and 325, right at the edge of the field. And we started mimicking our own knocks, trying to do it. We done it for 10 to 15 minutes. And then about that time we heard, it was 3 howls come from the left side where we heard the first knock. Yeah. And they were just real loud howls. It wasn't a coyote, a fox. It was, I've never heard nothing like that before.
Wow.
And as soon as I heard it, I freaked out. I was going straight to the car. Jake's like, no, stop. Let's just sit here a minute. I couldn't do it. It really freaked me out. So we walked back over the cars and we're sitting there a minute, and Jake's like, "Well, man, that's up there near our office trailer." He said, "Let's go up there." He said, you feel comfortable going?" I was like, "Yeah, all right, as long as we go together, we'll ride together in one car and we'll go up there." So we go up there to the office trailer and we get a couple, they're small, what do you want to call them? They're pieces of decking wood, the small little pieces you put in front of the deck.
Yeah.
And we take them. At first we started hitting the utility pole back there, trying to see if it wouldn't do it because the utility pole was pretty much dead. So then we took a 4x4 and I held it while Jake was hitting it. We'd done this a couple times and didn't hear nothing. And I told Jake, I said, "Man, you remember the other day we was talking to our day shift guy, and he said that he was asleep in the trailer and something smacked the side of it." And I was like, "We'll see if we can find anything." So we was walking around with flashlights shining at the side of the trailer. About the time I come into the front of the trailer, right below the window, right there where the dovetail is on the trailer, there was a big dent. And I told Jake, I said, "Man, come here and check this out." So as Jake come around the side of the trailer and looked at it, he goes, "Man," and walked straight over to it and placed his hand inside of it. And I went over to it and he said, "Look, dude, it perfectly fits the grooves of your fingers and your palm."
Wow.
So I stuck my hand in it and I just started freaking out. I was like, "All right, man, we got to eliminate to make sure that this is something that somebody ain't done." And I told Jake, I said, "Hit it." So Jake, he hauls off with all his force and smacks it. I mean, smacked it hard. And all it did was pop the trailer. Didn't leave a dent, no crease, nothing.
Wow.
And it just really, I don't know what done it, but I mean, you could literally see the handprints. It was the palm and 3 fingers, perfectly.
Yeah, and I put my hand in it, and it felt like it was these 3 fingers, and the print might have been maybe that much more.
Yeah, 2
than
inches
my hand.
more than your index finger.
Really?
The palm was so deep that you could literally, I could sink my palm into it, and it sunk to like this here was the palm of whatever hit it.
Wow.
I mean, it was just that massive.
All right, and before we're done, have been other incidents at this factory where you work, and other people have heard and seen things, and this is not a one-time event. Things have been going on.
No, it was your first year there. It was on New Year's Day, and it was right at New Year's Day. It was right about 1 o'clock in the morning. We was coming back from Ohio, and we was going to drop the trailer off. And as we started down through there, we seen something clear a 48-foot trailer. I mean, just run straight alongside of it. And it was within 3 to 4 steps. It was already gone. And I asked Jake, I said, "Did you just see that?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What the hell was that?" He goes, "I don't know." And I thought it might have just been me tired, my eyes playing tricks with me or something. But whatever it was, it literally cleared that 48-foot trailer within 3 to 4 steps and was gone.
Wow.
And then, it's been a couple months ago, I've drove down through there and I'd see it again.
Right.
And I wasn't the only one that seen it because you come in and told me the same.
I've actually seen them on the gravel road going back to our office, running across the road.
And security people have seen these things.
Yeah. Well, they've heard. We was down there one night. He didn't have to work. I was done working, and he come up there just to shoot the breeze with me, and we were sitting down there just bull crapping with security. And then about that time, we heard a couple howls. And, I didn't want to say nothing because I heard it, and I looked at Jake, and Jake looked at me.
If I can remember, didn't it sound something like whoop, whoop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was really, really loud.
Yeah.
And I didn't say nothing. I looked at Jake, and then Jake looked at me, and you could kind of tell we were thinking the same thing. And then I asked him, I was like, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "Yeah." And then we looked at the security guard, and I said, "Did you hear that sound?" He said, "Yeah, it was something, making some noise, It was something calling." And I even asked him, I said, "What was it?" And even the security guard couldn't even tell us what it was.
Okay. Thank you, guys.